You think you've seen elite quarterback play before? You think you know what greatness really looks like under center? Let me tell you something. What I'm about to share flipped everything I thought I knew on its head. Last week, something went down in Miami, behind closed doors, no cameras, no crowd. But what happened there has the entire NFL buzzing. Scouts, gyms, even team owners are still trying to wrap their heads around it. And yeah, we're talking about Shedeur Sanders. The performance he put on wasn't just impressive, was surgical. It was unbelievable. It was so precise, so flawless, that veteran talent evaluators, guys who've been doing this for decades, started questioning everything they thought they knew about the quarterback position. At first, it was just whispers. I started hearing things on Tuesday. Quiet buzz, nothing major, but by the end of the week, that buzz had turned into full-blown NFL chatter. And now, I get it. I get why Deion Sanders has been going to bat for his son every chance he gets. What happened in that private Miami facility didn't just raise eyebrows. It's changed the way I look at the entire 2025 NFL draft. But before I tell you exactly what went down on that field, let me ask you this. How many times have we seen a quarterback hyped beyond belief only to completely fall apart under pressure? How many can't-miss prospects turned out to be total busts the moment things got real? Ryan Leaf? Yeah, Marcus Russell. The list is long, and that's why what Shedeur did was so jaw-dropping. Because this wasn't a highlight reel. It wasn't. Some polished slow-mo edit designed to build hype. It wasn't even a no-stakes college scrimmage. This was real. This was raw. This was NFL-level evaluation under the kind of pressure that breaks most college QBs in half. So if you're as curious as I was, stick around. And before we dive in, do me a quick favor, hit that subscribe button. Give the video a like, and let me know what you think in the comments. Let's get into it. So, here's what went down. A few weeks back, word started spreading. Star Sanders had set up a private workout in Miami. But this wasn't just any session. This was at one of those elite facilities, the kind of place where legends like Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers go when they want to tune out the world and focus. No distractions, no fluff, just work. But Shedeur didn't show up with a crew or a camera crew. He didn't invite friends. Brought in the Wolves' former NFL defensive coordinators, veteran scouts, guys who've studied tape on Peyton Manning, Patrick Mahomes, you name it. These aren't people who care about trophies or famous last names. They only care about one thing. Can you really play? And guess what? They all showed up. Picture this, 6 a.m. in Miami, the sun just barely rising, casting long shadows. Across the turf, it's quiet. There's this low hum of anticipation in the air. Around the field, about 15 scouts, coaches, executives, all of them dead silent. Clipboards in hand, watching. Then Shedeur walks out. No hype, no music, no Instagram Live, just him. A young quarterback with everything to prove, not just because he's trying to make the NFL, but because his dad is Deion Sanders. Expectations don't get heavier than that. First drill 40-yard, throws 2 stationary targets. Sounds basic, right? But the receivers, these weren't some guys off the street. These were former NFL players, guys who know route running, timing, and technique. Shedeur steps up and boom, a missile. Perfect spiral. Hits the target like he was painting it with a laser. Scouts exchanged glances. No one flinched. Not yet. They've seen strong arms before. Then came throw number 2. Comeback route. Tougher. Needs anticipation, timing, precision, and shatter. He lets it go before the receiver even breaks. By the time the guy turns, the ball's already there, smacks him right in the chest. One scout, dropped his clipboard. That was just the warm dash-up. Next came the simulated game scenarios. Real stuff. Full-speed reads. They brought in a mock defense former NFL starters. These guys weren't there to play nice. 2-minute drill? No timeouts. 85 yards to go. Defense shows one look, rotates into another. Pressure comes hard, Shedeur. Calm slides up in the pocket, eyes downfield, spots a tiny window behind a linebacker fires. Hits the receiver in stride. That's a throw only a real NFL starter makes. And now the scouts are paying attention. They're leaning forward. It's getting real. Then came the pocket pressure drills. Brutal. Ex-Pro Bowl pass rushers coming off the edge. Shedeur takes a 7-step drop, pressure collapsing the pocket. And still fires a dart. 30 yards between two defenders. Gets drilled as he throws. The defender about to hit him. Stops mid-run, just watches the ball connect. Then silence. Then slow claps. And finally, applause. Let me be clear, NFL. Scouts clapping in the middle of a private workout. That never happens. And the wildest part? That was before the full team simulations. Yeah, they ran real NFL plays. No college simplifications. Full reads, audibles, protections. The stuff it takes rookies years to grasp. Shedeur, he was calling. Protections at the line. Reading safeties. Hitting hot routes before defenders even knew what was happening. One play stood out single coverage matchup. He audibles, signals his slot receiver. Drops a dime in the corner of the end zone. Touchdown! The defensive coordinator who set that scheme up just stood there. Mouth open, outcoached by a college kid. But here's the part that floored everybody. After every play, Shedeur walked over to the defenders and started asking them questions. What coverage was that? What did you see? What would you do differently? That's not normal. That's next-level film room curiosity. That's high-level football IQ, one former NFL linebacker said later. I've been around vets in this league for over a decade, and they don't ask questions like that. The workout lasted for hours. No fluff, no breaks. Just relentless. Quarterback play. And by the end, the mood had shifted. Those skeptical scouts were whispering to each other, scribbling notes, phones out. One GM was overheard saying, "That's the most complete performance I've seen from a college quarterback in 20 years. He could start day one. Within 48 hours, Shedeur's phone started ringing." Teams that weren't even in the QB conversation were reaching out. The Giants reportedly sent their head coach and offensive coordinator to study the tape. The Raiders? Their owner called Shedeur's agent personally, and Coach Prime Deion Sanders when asked about all the noise. Jay smiled and said, "I told y'all he was ready." Now it's making sense. This wasn't just a great workout. This felt like the arrival of something, a quarterback raised for this moment, given all the tools and doing something with them. So now, the question isn't, is Shedeur NFL ready? It's how high does he go? Who's smart enough to build a franchise around him? Because in this league, the right quarterback changes everything. And if this Miami performance is even half as real as people say, then we're not just looking at a top pick, we might be looking at the start of a new era. So, what do you think? Is Shedeur Sanders the real deal? Or is he just another workout warrior? Drop your take in the comments. I want to hear from you. And look, if you think that was the full story, you're not ready for what's next. Because what if I told you the biggest threat to Shedeur's NFL career isn't injury or a stacked depth chart? It's a lie. A flat-out, manufactured lie. One that started on shady blogs, spun by low-tire insiders chasing clicks. And now it's being parroted by NFL talking heads who've never liked the idea of a young black quarterback carrying himself like a CEO. You've probably seen the rumor that Shedeur is on his way out of Cleveland, that he's getting traded to the Colts to compete with a broken Anthony Richardson and a fading Daniel Jones, that he's fourth string. A bust? A throwaway. But here's what they're not telling you. Those rumors didn't come from inside the Browns. Not from the front office, not from the league. They were cooked up in the trash corners of the internet, fake stories. Betting sites, dressed up in buzzwords, shared by lazy insiders, and eaten up by fans who don't know better. This isn't a hot take, it's sabotage. So if you're tired of the noise and you want to hear the truth, do me a favor, smash that subscribe button, like the video, and drop your thoughts below, because this story is just getting started. Shedeur Sanders isn't under attack by defenders on the field. He's under attack by the story being written around him. And every time he rises, they find a new excuse to drag him back down. First, it was his confidence. Then, it was his father. Now, it's a fake trade rumor, but today, this isn't just a football story. This is a breakdown of how a lie spreads. Who benefits from keeping Shedeur buried, and why this man might just be the most dangerous quarterback in the NFL, not because he's reckless, but because he's prepared. And let's get one thing straight. This rumor, it didn't come from Adam Schefter. It didn't come from Ian Rappaport. It didn't even come from anyone in the Browns organization. It came from a guy named Jonathan Adams writing for a sportsbook blog, not ESPN. He floated a what if. What if the Browns cut Shedeur? What if he ended up in Indy? That's it. One speculative line. No sources, no scoop. Just a maybe. But the NFL echo chamber took it and ran. Then came the blogs. I'm talking about sites like motorcyclenews.net. Yeah, seriously, a motorcycle site turned football blog. They published some AI-generated mess of an article. No quotes, no reporting, just noise. And that was enough. It caught fire. And here's what ticks me off. The media knew what they were doing. They didn't check, they didn't verify. Just saw Shedeur's name next to Colts and went for the clicks. That's not journalism. That's bait. And who better to bait than a young, confident black quarterback who already has a target on his back? This was never about his play. It's about controlling the narrative, planting doubt before he ever gets a real chance. And if we don't speak up, that lie becomes legacy. But while they were passing around fake trade rumors, Shedeur was doing something they didn't expect working. Quietly, relentlessly. While anonymous insiders played telephone, Shedeur was down in Texas, grinding under the brutal sun. No film crew, no look at me Instagram story. It's real reps with his receivers. One of them, Gage Larvadane, a young guy who built real chemistry with Shedeur. During rookie minicamp and Tass, this wasn't some influencer retreat. This was football. Timing, precision, trust. The kind of trust you need on 3rd and 9 with the game on the line. And here's the thing, Shedeur gets it. He understands what most rookies don't, that how you work when no one's watching determines how you win when everyone is. That's not just training. That's leadership. Let me ask you, do you think Joe Flacco is out there running backyard routes with fringe receivers? Do you think Daniel Jones is flying down to Texas in July to build timing with third-string guys? Come on, Shedeur is out working the competition before they've even unpacked their shoulder pads. But you won't see that on SportsCenter, because a young black QB grinding in the offseason doesn't fit the story they want. If he shows up early, he's cocky. If he stays late, he's a distraction. But the truth, Shedur's been preparing for this moment his whole life. While the media spins fiction, He's out there earning what can't be faked respect. Now let's talk about why this trade rumor even exists. Because this isn't about talent, it's about politics. Cleveland's quarterback room? It's not a meritocracy. It's a chessboard. And right now, Shedeur Sanders is being treated like a pawn. Not because he's lacking, but because he's dangerous to the system. Check the betting odds from Polymart. Flacco has a 50% chance to start. Kenny Pickett? 22%. Dylan Gabriel, who's never played a single NFL snap? 16%. Shedeur? 14%. Dead last. That's how little the experts think of the best pure passer in that room. Let's be real. This isn't about what Shedeur can't do. It's about what he might do if they actually gave him the keys. This league still doesn't know what to do with a fifth-round black quarterback who acts like a CEO, trains like a vet, and plays like a star, so they bury him on the depth chart, hoping he fades out quietly. But then the Colts enter the conversation. And suddenly, this rumor has fuel, because Indy, starving for a quarterback. They don't have a competition. They have a crisis. Let's start with Anthony Richardson. On paper, he's a freak. Built like a linebacker, runs like a track. Star, but once the season starts, injuries, inconsistency, you name it. Colts fans won't say it, but they're starting to wonder if he's the dream they need to wake up from. Then there's Daniel Jones, fresh off a collapse in New York. Can we stop pretending this guy is some comeback story waiting to happen? He's not a franchise savior. It's a placeholder. And right now, he's QB1 in Indy. So when Shedeur's name pops up, it's not because he deserves the chaos. It's because his name brings clicks and his game brings calm. He's not scrambling for 70 yards. He's standing in the pocket and delivering lasers with a rusher in his face. That makes people uncomfortable. Because Shedeur doesn't just play quarterback. He is a quarterback. Precise, poised, polished. He's the kind of guy who can command a room without saying a word. Anthony Richardson was called a generational talent before proving anything. Meanwhile, Shedeur lit up college football and still got treated like a reach. One was protected, the other was challenged. And guess what? Shedeur keeps showing up, keys grinding. Keeps proving the system wrong. So why is the league still betting on broken bodies and highlight tape? While ignoring the guy who's ready right now? Because Shedeur Sanders doesn't just threaten defenses, he threatens the system. And that brings me too, Chris Carter. When Chris Carter went on TV and said Shedeur and his family overplayed their hand, he wasn't just giving an opinion. That was betrayal. A former player, a flocked man speaking the language of the gatekeepers. He said Shedeur wasn't special enough to choose where he got drafted. Really, it's from someone who watched this league blackball Colin Kaepernick hide concussions and fight guaranteed contracts. Now he wants to act like the NFL is too pure to collude. Come on, the league already admitted to collusion in court, so Carter wasn't just wrong, he was helping protect the system. And we know what he really meant when he said him and his family. He meant Dion, a man who dared to build a brand, speak up, and empower his kids. That wasn't just an attack on Shedeur's value, that was an attack on black independence. And for what? Ratings? Chris Carter says Shedeur isn't Eli Manning, and he's right. Eli was handpicked, protected, privileged. Shedeur had to earn everything. And maybe that's what makes him more dangerous. And here's the twist. If the trade does happen, Shedeur still wins. If he lands in Indy, he's one bad series away from taking over the starting job. If he stays in Cleveland and keeps doing what he's doing, grinding, improving, leading, he's going to show that hard work and leadership still matter more than flash. The NFL may not want Shedeur Sanders to win, but guess what? He's already coming. and you can't stop what's already in motion. Let them talk, Shedeur. He'll let his game do the answering dot. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe for more breakdowns like this, and I'll catch you in the next one.